Hey, what's going on, DDO players? Axel here. So today I'm going to talk about update 38, and I'm also going to try out a new format. As you can see, it's going to be me on camera. The format's going to be me on camera with a mic, and there's going to be screenshots and things of what I'm talking about, relevant videos, maybe some effects, things like that on the screen. So hopefully this will make my videos more worth watching instead of just worth listening to. It's something that I've wanted to try for a while, and I have tried a few times. And it's something I've gotten a lot of feedback in the past couple months of a lot of different people who want to see more relevant things on screen than just gameplay. So I'm going to give this a shot and see how it goes, see if I like it and see if you guys like it, and I'll go from there. Maybe it'll be the main format of the channel going forward. So let's go ahead and start talking about update 38. And the first thing to talk about is the quests. So we got 5 new quests, 3 of which I think are fairly straightforward. 3 of them are very hack and slash based, very linear, but we got 2, in my opinion, that really stood out in this pack. The Disciples of Rage is the name of the new pack. The 2 that stood out are Madness of Crowds and Toxic Treatment. Now, Madness of Crowds is the quest that brings back Brawn Pits, which is the same giant that we saw in the House P Carnival pack years and years ago. And it's different because it's a completely open map, and we don't see that very often, but it's a quest that's completely open. You have to find different ingredients for Brawn Pits, and you have to find Brawn Pits himself. And it's a quest that I think people are either going to love or going to hate, but I think it's one of the quests that's really worth running in the new pack because it's just different. And even the item spawns that you have to find, I believe they are actually random, and Brawn Pits himself is actually random. Well, not purely random. I think there's a set number of different possibilities the ingredients and Brawn Pits can be at, but nevertheless, it is a quest that isn't going to be the same every single time you open it. You have to look a little bit, and it won't be such a brain dead quest where a lot of typical DDO quests are, where you run it a few times, you know it, and it's very linear. You don't have to think much. You just run through and kill stuff. And those quests are fine. I'm not saying they're bad or anything. It's just Madness of Crowds gives you a mix-up. It's something different. I always like that. And if you like the more linear quests, we got a lot of them. As I said, 3 of the 5 quests, in my opinion, are very straightforward and linear, very hack and slash based. The other quest we got that I thought was very, very much worth mentioning was Toxic Treatment, which I thought was the best quest in the pack. I've actually seen a lot of people complain about it, actually, which kind of surprised me because I thought it was very well designed, other than a couple flaws, which I'll talk about in a minute. But Toxic Treatment really stands out because it has a good mix of things to do. There's 3 main sections, or actually trials you have to pass. It kind of reminds you of, say, like the Shroud, where you have different trials you have to go through. And one trial is kind of a puzzle-based trial. It has a light puzzle, a kind of light puzzle I don't think we've ever seen in DDO before. It was actually a 4x5. In the light puzzles we've had in the past, the most notable ones have been in the Shroud. We've had 3x3s, 4x4s, and 5x5s, but we actually had a 4x5 in this one, which is different. And it's not as brutal as some of the Shroud puzzles. So if you're scared of doing, say, a Shroud, like a 5x5, if you haven't been able to do those by yourself in the past, don't worry, because there's actually a mechanic in the quest. And I'll go ahead and spoil it, I guess. It's been out long enough at this point. But there's a mechanic in the quest where basically you don't have to solve the puzzle completely. There's a lever you can keep pulling. Every time you pull the lever that's near the puzzle, an enemy will spawn that you have to kill. But when you kill that enemy, one of the puzzle tiles will kind of fill in, so you don't have to light that area. So it makes the puzzle a little bit easier to solve. So you can keep pulling that lever. As far as I could tell, you can pull it as much as you want. So eventually you'll be able to solve the puzzle. So not too bad. There's another section which is you have to find different ingredients. It's a forest section, and that's a section that I think needs some work aesthetically. There's some basically outlying trees that hang over that really impede your vision. That's the one effect that really kind of bothered me, and that stood out as the one flaw in the pack. But it's aesthetic. You can get around it. You can zoom in. I actually had to. It's kind of ridiculous, but I actually had to zoom into almost first person a few times just to kind of see around the forest area. But it's something that I hope they fix. I don't know if they're aware of it. I haven't seen too many comments about it, but it's something I hope they fix. But if not, it's not a game breaker by any means. The other trial is it's in a cave. It's more straightforward. The infight is what I really want to talk about next because the infight is really challenging. There's a beholder, and it's very very challenging. Even I went in with my level 26 character on epic normal or legendary normal actually, and I really struggled even on normal. I didn't die. I got through it first time, but it was pretty difficult even on legendary normal with my level 26 character. Granted, it's under level, but it still was a pretty difficult infight. So I think the quests are good overall. It's not nothing game changing. It's not amazing, but it's definitely a better than average adventure pack. So I'm happy about it. It'll be fun to run. It's actually quests that aren't too long. Like say like something like Slave Lords that's really long. It has tons of enemies you have to kill, and it slogs along. These quests are all fairly short. I think you can run all of them in 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, depending on your party. So it's not too bad. The whole chain you can definitely get through, I'd say, in like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So it's not too bad, depending again on difficulty and strength of your party. Okay, so other than that, there were a couple things. There's no adventure area with the quest, which I didn't like that much. With the adventure pack, I'm sorry, there's no adventure area with it, which was a little bit disappointing. But at this point, I kind of expect that they've gone away from that. The story in the pack I didn't find to be very that great because I got kind of bored with it. I read it the first few quests. I kind of lost interest. Then again, I didn't look into it completely. Like I don't have a complete understanding of the story. So maybe if I looked into it more, I'd like it more. But I did get bored with it after a few quests. So that's another thing. But overall, I do recommend you buy the pack. It's very good. It's very much worth running if you want some different stuff at level 31 or a cap to run through. It's fun. It's a fun pack. It's well designed. It's definitely above average. So I do recommend you buy it. And I think DDO did a very good job with the pack overall. All right. So other than that, there were a few other things that happened that were notable in this update. Artificer was updated. They got a new enhancement tree. So if you like running artificers, if you run an artificer, definitely check that out. The Renegade Mastermaker tree. After that, Druids got a lot of work. Druids got a pass, which was really good because they had a lot of things that needed to be fixed. There were a lot of things really on a technical level that got changed and modified with the way Druids work. So if you run a Druid, definitely look at the release notes and read them. Read them all, at least that section, because a lot of things that have to do with their combat got changed. I know Bear got changed. It looked like it got buffed quite a bit. Again, I don't run Druids, but it looked like they finally did some things with Bear. I know like their attack speed animation, I believe they did speed that up, and that was a complaint in the past that Bear's DPS wasn't that great. And their Druid enhancement trees also got revamped. So if you run a Druid, you definitely should read that section of the release notes word by word, and I'll link it down below. Okay, a couple other things. Monks got a nerf. The Henshin Mystic tree got a nerf. Basically, they lost melee power. I think it was a certain number melee power per core. And also the duality hand wraps in the new Ravenloft raid got nerfed. So they got, I think it was their damage die got reduced a bit, I believe. And I know some people, when this update, when it hit the preview server for the first time, I know some people were upset about that, and I kind of understand why they're doing it. It seems kind of weird because if you're not aware, casters are, at least when it comes to running the high-end Reaper content, like the hardest content in the game, casters are considered basically superior to melees at this point. And so I think some players got a little upset about the monk nerfs because they're like, hey, why are you nerfing a melee when casters are so powerful? And I can't say for sure because I don't run monks, so I don't know how they compare DPS wise. But from what I've heard, is they were pretty comparable in DPS to kind of the best caster builds in the game. Again, don't quote me on that. Could be wrong, but in any case, monks apparently were able to handle things in Reaper, unlike a lot of melee builds on the higher end Reapers. So some players were upset, but the dev response to this was actually it made a lot of sense. Basically, they made the statement that they understood where melees were. They understand that melees are behind casters, but they had to get melees on the same level because Henshin monks pre this update after their DPS calculations, they did a lot more, just way more damage than basically any other melee class. So they had to bring monks down to more of a even level with the other melee classes in the game, so that they can then raise melees up as a group, which they actually did do some of that this update. So what they did do to kind of bring all melee classes up is they buffed basically they buffed melee power in all the destinies except for Dreadnought. So all the other, I guess, more melee oriented destinies did get a buff. Again, probably not going to help a lot of people when it comes to buffs, because Dreadnought did not get buffed, and Dreadnought being, of course, I think for most builds is going to be your best choice for just a melee centric build at cap, or at least in Legendary, because it has Blitz, and Blitz is really good. So but it did help those melees that are running in other destinies. So that's good. Again, it's not like the only buff they're going to do. They haven't stated that by any stretch of the imagination. I'm sure there will be more buffs for melees in the future. But that brings us to another point, is kind of what I was worried about. And I might make a whole video on this because I have a lot to say about it. And I will at some point when I feel I have enough to say about Reaper, and if Reaper has if it's worked out, basically, if it's worth it, if it's been good for the game. It's now been in the game for a while, but I will say that it worries me a little bit, because I don't think we should be balancing around Reaper per se, because the whole concept of Reaper was for it to be kind of this unfair difficulty. It's not supposed to be fair. It's not supposed to be balanced. We shouldn't be balancing around Reaper because it's supposed to be a challenge difficulty. That's my opinion. So I'll leave it at that, but I might do it. I think there's a good chance I'll do a video in the future kind of giving my full thoughts on that, because I have a lot to say about Reaper. Definitely a lot I could say. So guys, that's going to be it as far as my just scattered thoughts on update 38. Overall, I think it's a really good update. There are some concerns I have with it, and I did record a video specifically with the daily dice. I'm really concerned about some changes there, and I recorded a video last week discussing the daily dice, but I wanted to release it alongside this video, so I didn't release it last week. I recorded it about a week ago, but you'll be able to see that as a separate upload, which I'm going to upload along with this video at the same time, so you can skip over to that video next and you can see my thoughts there. I'll warn you though, this video very positive for the most part, because I think update 38 was excellent, but that video not so much. I'll be doing a lot of criticizing, some ranting. So if you like that kind of video, check it out. But overall, again, update 38, I really liked it. They got a lot of stuff done. Druids, great changes. I'm glad they added finally they added a third enhancement tree for your artificers. I think the adventure pack was above average, not Ravenloft good, because of course it's not going to be, because it's not a paid expansion. You shouldn't expect that. It's an adventure pack. When you're dropping all that money for an expansion, you should expect a much better quality of content than you'll get out of an adventure pack. So guys, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Tell me what you think about update 38, if you liked it, what you thought about it. I'd be interested in reading that, as I always am, and I'll try to respond to the comments if I can. So that's going to be it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Take care, and oh yeah, please let me know what you think about this format, if you like it or if you would rather me go back to gameplay. I would definitely want feedback on that. So guys, have a good one. Take care.